what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you first about how to figure your pace count and why it's useful. Then we're going to take you out there and have you figure your pace count and write it down because you're going to need it tonight. We're going to talk to you about estimating distance, and then we're going to go out and have you do it and show you how to do it. And the same thing with circumnavigation of a danger area. So let's start off by talking about pace counting. Pace counting is the only way that you can do what's called dead reckoning. Dead reckoning is really one of the most crucial skills that you can have for nighttime navigation because it combines an exact compass bearing with a distance. So it's one thing for me to tell you that you need to travel 270 degrees. For how long? Right? Okay, so the ranger station is 270 degrees from here, but how far away is it? How do I know that I made it there or didn't pass it or I went far enough without a distance associated with that? And that's called dead reckoning, okay? So that's what we're going to teach you guys how to do. Now, pace counting is most useful if you use some kind of a counting device, and it can either be a set of beads, it can be rocks in your pocket, it can be knots tied in a paracord, really doesn't matter what it is. But the way we've set, you can do this in miles or you can do it in meters. I prefer meters because it's all in increments of 10. I'm a fan of the metric system. A lot of people aren't, but I am. Because it's easy and I'm stupid. Everything's in 10 so I can't screw it up. So what you're going to do with pace counting is you're going to figure out how many normal paces it takes you to walk 100 meters. If you're doing it to try to use it often, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark out, take a 100-meter piece of rope or something like that, and you're going to lay it out on different types of terrain: uphill, downhill, rough terrain, soft, smooth terrain, muddy, wet, nasty terrain, so that you can take an average for distance traveled. Because your pace count will change, obviously uphill or downhill, in a different type of terrain compared to just walking, down the street. Your pace count's going to be different. Okay, you're going to be given a pace count tonight, and it may be off by 2 or 3 steps because the instructor's pace count may be different than your pace count. But if you walk 100 or 200 steps too far, you probably went way too far. Okay, or if you're 100 or 200 steps too light, you'll know you ain't there yet. Okay. So the way pace counting works is, like I said, you figure out how many paces it takes you to walk 100 meters on average. And then what you can do is with these beads is you have one set of beads or rocks or knots or whatever the case may be that you have 9 of. And the other one you have 4. That gives you a 5-kilometer distance counting device. Because what you'll do is you will take these 9 beads and move them up to the top. You'll take these 4 beads, you'll move them up to the top like this. And then you'll start walking. And let's say that my average pace count is 68 paces for 100 meters. And that means 1, 2, I count my pace on the same foot, not both feet, okay? When I get to 68, I move a bead down and now I've walked 100 meters. So I start counting, so I don't have to count to 1,000,000, I only have to count 68. Same thing again, when I get to the next 68, I move a bead down. When I've moved all 9 of these beads down, the next bead means I've walked how far? 1 kilometer. So when I do that 4 times, on the 5th one, I've walked 5 kilometers. Okay? So that gives you a 5-kilometer pace count. You're not going to have to walk that far tonight, believe me. You'll be walking any further than you did today, tonight. Alright? But I want you to understand your pace count because at night, things are completely different than they are during the day. You might be able to see that orange tag from here 100 yards away through the woods during the day. You're not going to see it at night because your group's only going to have 1 headlight. There's a lot of little twists that come in tonight because tonight's basically the final exam. It's going to be a culmination of everything you've learned since you've been here, all rolled into one exercise tonight. We'll talk about that later. So to figure out your pace count, what we're going to do is we're going to take you outside. We have 100-meter tape laid out on the ground, and then we've taken stakes, driveway stakes, and marked off 100-meter lanes for you guys to walk off your pace count. I recommend that you walk it up and back at least to check yourself, because the first time it might be 68, the next time it might be 70. The average would be 69. And average it like that, okay? And just worry about flat terrain for now. Don't worry about uphill, downhill, and all that stuff. Just get your flat terrain pace count, and it'll be fairly close within a few steps tonight out here in the rough terrain, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing we want to talk about is we want to talk about crossing a danger or circumnavigating a danger area. So let's say that this table, for sake of purpose, is something that I cannot go through, and let's just say it's a lot bigger than it is, okay? I'm walking on my bearing, I got my compass out, and I'm following my bearing, and I'm going ahead and I come up to my obstacle. Maybe it's a rock face, you know, a sheer rock face. Maybe it is a pond or a lake or something like that, okay? What I need to do is I need to look across that area if I can, see the other side, and I need to mark that in my head visually. It's on the same bearing, so it doesn't really matter, okay? If I can't see the other side, that's okay too. What's important is this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all the way to one side, direct 90 degrees. And then I'm going to walk, and I'm going to count my paces, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is when I get to the other side. Now, I'm clear of my danger area. Maybe it was 20 steps, okay? If I'm pace counting, this is not pace counting, it is, but it's not, okay? If I'm actually pace counting for distance, I have to count my steps going this way too. If I'm not pace counting, I'm just trying to get back on the same bearing, then this doesn't matter. Now I'm going to walk till I pass the danger area and do a 90 the other direction and count the same amount of paces back that I took this way. And then I should be exactly in the same spot on my bearing again. If I had a visual object I could see, that makes it pretty easy. If I see a big giant black oak tree, black walnut tree on the other side, I'm just going to go around and go to that black walnut tree as long as it was in the same line of sight, okay? If not, then I have to count it off, okay? So that's circumnavigating a danger area. Now let's talk about how we figure out an approximate distance across something. And why is that important? Well, if it's a creek or a river or something and I've got to cross it, maybe I want to know if I got enough rope to double it around a tree, get to the other side, still hanging on to that rope in case I slip and fall, and then retrieve my rope back. I don't want to get 3/4 of the way across and it's like, uh-oh, I'm at the end of my rope, now what do I do? I still got 1/4 of the way to go. Or maybe it's something where I say, there's a tree right here, I'm going to drop this tree with my axe across the creek and try to use that to get across the creek so there's no way I'm going to get washed down swift water, okay? Then I've got to know the height of that tree too. And you can use the same method for both, estimating height and estimating distance across. And you do that by triangulation. And this is a little bit difficult, the math on this is difficult to explain, so I'm just going to tell you, and you're just going to have to trust me. But a 45-degree angle from any 2 points gives you a 90-degree, okay? And you can look at that and understand that if this is my compass, let's just say, this is north, south, east, west, okay? Those 4 triangles are of equal size, right? These triangles are of all equal size. The smallest, this is 90 degrees right here to here. Half of that is 45. So that's our smallest common denominator that we can use to get a triangle that's equal in size. It's 45 degrees. Remember that 45 degrees. That's what you want to remember, okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to, and you guys are going to get an exercise in this. If this is my creek, and there's a tree over here that I can see on the other side of that creek, I'm going to stand right here and I'm going to shoot a compass bearing to that tree. Then I'm either going to walk this direction or this direction, and I'm going to keep checking myself along the way. I don't think I got this dried off very well. I'm going to keep checking myself along the way because I want to get to a point where when I shoot my bearing from here to here, it's exactly 45 degrees difference than it was from here to here. So if this started out 360 and I'm going this direction, 45 degrees less than that equals what? 315? 315, right? So if I shoot a bearing from here to here, it's 315. I know I'm exactly the same distance this direction as it is this direction. Now all I have to do is count my pace back here. If my steps are 3 feet, basically, right? However many steps it is times 3 equals the distance across that thing. Now I know how far it is across that river. Okay? But it has to be 45 degrees. If you want to double check yourself, you can go the other direction 45 degrees, take your angle this way, and average the two in case you were off. And you'll be pretty close. Okay? And you can do the same thing with a tree. So let's say I'm standing right here and I say, okay, now I know it's 35 feet across this thing. I need a 35-foot tree that's really close so I can just drop it over. Now I got to figure out the height of the tree. Same thing, okay? Same exact thing. As long as I get, if this is the tree that I'm measuring, if I walk back and my compass has an inclinometer on it, does everybody know what an inclinometer is? It's a thing inside your compass that measures degrees of angle. Okay? If I sight this up at a 45-degree angle to the top of that tree, and I just keep walking back until I'm looking in this mirror and I got a 45-degree angle, then all I got to do is count the paces to the tree, and I'm the same distance away from it as it is tall. Okay? Within about 5 feet, because you've got that differential of your eye height to the ground. So within about 5 feet, you're going to be close. Okay? Does everybody understand this? Okay, this is going to be a deliverable for you guys today. Your instructors are going to take out, what they're going to do is they're going to put a black barrel off in the distance. They're going to tell you, okay, how far are you away from that black barrel right now? To simulate how far it would be across an object. And you guys are going to have to tell them how far you are away from that barrel within 10 feet. That's 10 feet's a pretty big margin of error. Okay? So that's what you got. First you're going to do your pace count, then you're going to do this exercise. When we're done with those two exercises, we're going to go run the second compass course. When we're done with the second compass course and you get that right, and you come back with the right readings, we're going to take a long break before tonight's exercise. Whatever time you guys are done with that, we're done until dark. Okay? At dark is going to be your final exercise for your final deliverable exercise for the class. After that, there'll be no more deliverables. So if you're all caught up and you passed the exercise tonight, you got a certificate and a patch coming. Tomorrow is just discussion and lecture. In the morning for a couple hours, certificates, pictures, how do you do, here's your patch, thank you very much, have a nice day. Tomorrow is the easy money. All right? Tonight is going to be the rough way out. Okay? So we got to get some of this stuff down now, especially the pace counting. It's really important to get down now because it'll come into play tonight. Okay? All right, guys, so go meet with your instructors out there. They should have some lanes set up for you to get your pace count. Make sure you write it down.